The West was never won. It was survived. Beyond the celluloid ghosts of Hollywood lies a frontier of dust, blood, and the relentless, crushing march of progress. In the mid-19th century, a powerful ideology took hold of the American spirit: manifest destiny. It was the fervent, almost spiritual belief that the United States was destined to expand its reach from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This wasn't merely a move toward the horizon. It was a massive, messy migration fueled by the promise of land and the allure of gold. Visualize the lone wagon train, a tiny speck of canvas and wood, lumbering across the sun-drenched prairies during the golden hour. The scale was immense, and the silence of the plains was heavy with the weight of what was to come. For the pioneers, the journey was a test of endurance against an indifferent landscape, a march toward a future that demanded everything and promised nothing but the dirt beneath their feet. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the romanticized dream of the West often dissolved into a much grittier, somber reality. The cinematic image of the dapper gunslinger is a myth. The true face of the frontier was weathered, weary, and caked in mud. Settlements were often nothing more than clusters of sod houses, where families lived in dwellings literally carved from the earth. The daily hardships were brutal: outbreaks of cholera, the scorching heat of summer, and the bone-chilling isolation of a winter prairie. We are told tales of dramatic duels at high noon, but historical truth reveals a different kind of violence. Conflict was usually born of desperation, poverty, and a total vacuum of legal infrastructure. Most outlaws were desperate men in a lawless land, and justice was often a matter of who held the shotgun first. It was a life defined not by glory, but by the quiet, relentless struggle to see another sunrise. Change, however, was coming on the back of a black-lunged beast. The era of the open range and the lawless trail was brought to an end not by a hero's badge, but by the relentless hammer of the railroad spike. The transcontinental railroad was the iron vein that pumped the order and industry of the East directly into the heart of the wilderness. As massive steam locomotives thundered through rocky canyons, their coal smoke staining the sky, the frontier as a concept began to vanish. The telegraph wires followed, whispering the laws of distant cities across the plains, effectively taming the land that had once seemed unconquerable. This technological surge bridged the gap between the wild and the modern, turning the living frontier into a collection of legends. The frontier is closed, the dust has settled, but the ghosts of the Old West remain. They haunt our stories and live on in our myths. Subscribe to explore more forgotten history, and leave a comment about which outlaw you want to see covered next.